Live, local, late breaking. This is KEZI 9 News at 6.
Renee McCulley is off tonight. Watergate set off more than 2 years of investigations and the removal of a president. And on this anniversary, we're hearing more from those directly affected by the events. KEZI 9 News anchor Carly Tinsley joins us live in the studio tonight with more on this special report. Carly.
Well, Matt, similar to the way the country is paying attention closely to the January 6th hearings, the same thing happened nearly half a century ago when the Watergate hearings took place and what is considered a dark chapter in U.S. political history. But then there are those who lived through it firsthand. And I sat down with one man whose family played a key role. He now lives in Oregon and is sharing his story of what happened that night and in the days and months to follow.
Therefore, I shall resign the presidency effective at noon tomorrow.
Our family was destroyed by Watergate, and it has never come together. Besides Nixon resigning and the whole Watergate thing, there's a human story to that. There's consequences of what people do.
The unraveling of a presidency, starting 50 years ago at an office building on Virginia Avenue.
Well, I'm not a crook. I've earned everything I've got.
In the following days and weeks, Americans were glued to their TV screens and radios, listening from the comfort of their homes as history unfolded. But inside one house in Washington, D.C., an 18-year-old boy had lived it.
And I stayed at home with my dad. One night, 50 years ago, he came back in the wee hours, 4 in the morning, I don't know what time it was. He crashed into my pitch black room, flung the light on, and said, "Saint, I need you to come upstairs. Don't ask any questions, but I need your help right now. Do as I say, please." And he turned around and out into the darkness of the basement.
St. John Hunt is the son of E. Howard Hunt, one of the members of a secret White House team known as the Plumbers. They were tasked with stopping government leaks after the Pentagon Papers were released. Howard Hunt was also a former CIA operative. A long list of titles, unknown to his son for most of his life, until June 17, 1972, when his father came home with a suitcase.
He said, go in the kitchen, get some Windex, some towels, and come back here. And I did so, and there was a large suitcase on the bed. And he said, open that, and I want you to spray and wipe down everything in the suitcase.
Hunt would later come to learn that he was wiping down eavesdropping equipment in black boxes that had been used to bug the Democratic National Convention headquarters. His father had helped organize the break-in at the DNC and watched the burglary from a room in the hotel across the street. The evidence inside that suitcase would end up at the bottom of the Potomac River.
He just said, don't ask questions. His mind was racing. I'd never seen him like that before.
Did you ever say to yourself, oh my gosh, my dad's a criminal?
I never felt that. I didn't really think of it in terms of committing a crime. I was so engulfed by the events that were, facing us. and even not sure what was facing us. And I was so happy to be there for my dad.
A couple of days later, Hunt would dispose of more evidence for his father at familiar places not far from home.
No, a couple days later, I took a typewriter of his in the dead hours of the night and went across the street to where there was a large pond. I used to go fishing with my little brother there.
He still didn't quite understand the full extent of what was happening, but at the White House, Richard Nixon did. His father would become the subject of one of Nixon's infamous tapes.
I knew when I saw his picture on the front page and this thing about the FBI looking for him in a nationwide manhunt, that this was pretty big, pretty historical thing going on.
In the meantime, his mother Dorothy would get tangled in the mess as well.
That's a great shot.
Hunt says the couple were essentially blackmailing the White House, threatening to reveal details about Watergate.
The threat that my mother told the White House was that they had evidence that would literally blow the White House out of the water. That was a direct threat, and you know, she was a smart lady. She should have known there's going to be consequences if you threaten to blackmail the President of the United States.
Dorothy sadly would die in a plane crash not long after. And to this day, Hunt believes there was more to it than a tragic accident killing 43 people. It would be a domino that set off the unraveling of Hunt's life, as the presidency did during the Watergate hearings, when he would understand the full weight of what his father did and what he helped him with. His father serving nearly 4 years for his involvement.
Realizing that just about everything that I lived through in my family and was told to be the truth, to be this is why we did this and this is what happened there, was a lie.
Hunt spent the next few decades uncovering the lies. He wrote 2 books that detail not only Watergate, but more on his mother's life, telling the story that has come at a cost, not only betraying his late father, but causing a rift between his extended family.
He said, you must never tell. This is a secret that you have to take to your grave with you. And, of course, I didn't do that, but oops. Sorry, Dad.
Yet he does not regret telling the story of what happened that night 50 years ago.
I think it's good that Watergate happened. I think it really woke the nation up. Like, well, gee, you know, we love our president, but if he's subverting the law and he thinks he's above the law, that's not what a democracy is about. And so I think it was a lesson hard learned by the nation.
A lesson that no matter how many years pass, does not have an expiration date.
That the leadership of America will be in good hands.
Carly Tinsley, KEZI 9 News.
Now, your first forecast with Chief Meteorologist Dylan Robichaud.